Hey, y'all. Welcome to Down Ballot Banter, the podcast that puts the spotlight on local elections and what local government actually means for you. I'm Monét Noel Marshall.
And I am Quay Weston.
Yeah, you are.
Local elections are extremely important, and we're on a mission to learn together and to break down local politics in a way that makes sense to us and doesn't require us to be experts.
Because we are not.
Hello.
So, whether you're a seasoned voter or this is your first opportunity, we've got the insights and information to keep you informed and engaged.
Because when it comes to building new worlds, all of our inputs matter.
Yes. So, if you're ready to learn with us, let's go. Hey, Quay.
What's up, Monet? Here we are.
Here we are in the final episode of the season. And what a time it's been.
We've been on a ride.
Truly,
Ooh,
us
we've been on
and
a
the
ride.
rest of the state and the country.
That's right.
This is really going to be like a recap. I was talking about like our thoughts moving forward. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
But how are you as a human?
As a human, I was talking to a friend this morning about feeling so many different things, which is common for me. But I think in this particular moment of my humanness, I feel excited. I feel hopeful. I feel like called to be much more creative than I have been. And I feel some concern about the state of the world and things to come. Some worry, some fear for not just myself, but others, friends, community members. And yeah, I feel like those who are ready to be generative in like what we can be doing, I think I'm most excited for that to emerge. Like those people to be like, now is my time.
Yeah.
It's my time now. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel as a human today. What about you? Where you at?
You know, I've been really moving through some grief. I think when times are particularly hard, that's when I miss my grandmas the most.
Say that.
And I just really been like, ooh, I miss both my grandmas. And I'm like really particularly like thinking about my grandmother, my nanny, Evelyn, and just like I grew up with her in our home. So because I think there's just a way that because she was born in 1922 and had like, she saw so much of the world change that like in times when I was like, yo, this is wild. I could just look at her and I felt grounded. Like, this Black woman has been existing here and surviving here and even thriving here since 1922.
22. Crazy. 102 years ago.
What?
Come on.
So she passed away in 2017. She was like 9 days shy of turning 95. So it's like, and then my other grandma who passed in April, my grandma Zelma, she died a week after turning 95. So it's like, and she's a Black woman in the South, here in North Carolina, her entire life, other than a short stint being a domestic in New York. But like, just the things that they had to survive. And I'm like, I am 35. And if I trend towards everybody else, I got 60 more years of it.
That's right.
60?
Yep.
Like, I feel like I've aged 10 years between 2020 and now.
Yep.
So, and you know, with medical advancements, they say we're going to get older. I don't know.
I can't be 100. So I'm not going for that. I
don't know if I have
I'm not going for it.
The emotional stamina. So some grief.
Yeah.
But even though I can't see them, when I think about them, I'm like, we've been surviving a long time.
Yeah.
Our people have been surviving here a long time. So if just mathematically it tracks that we will survive whatever is like hard and whatever is coming. Beyond that, I'm also feeling excited about how we will be creative and the people who are coming, the people who are like, I didn't get it before, but I'm here now. And I hope that we can, all of us, we can be graceful and be invitational for those people and for ourselves.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm feeling a need to both be bold and audacious in my dreaming and in my making, while also being like slow and intentional. Like, I just want to make Sunday suppers and I want to like drink tea in the evening. Like, I'm just like, I'm turning into a grandma.
That's right.
Right now. That's really the whole thesis of what I'm saying. Yeah.
And if the future is the present, you are a grandma.
I am a grandma
right
now.
Yeah. R.I.P. Tony Todd, my man's the Candy Man.
Shout out to Tony Todd. Got a shirt on today.
Honor for brother Todd. Yeah, I was watching it as like a reminder of like the power of stories. And like, I ain't gonna do a deep dive on Candyman right now, but short version is like, even in the film, like there's this part where this kid is like telling the researcher, this white woman researcher who goes in to do this research on this neighborhood and like figure out if they just making shit up or not. Which you know how they
know how that goes.
Do our stories. Yeah, and it was just like a reminder of the power of like telling the story and like telling the truth and like intergenerationally telling the story and keeping the story and then like repeating it as a means to like remind us of what's come, but also like how to move going forward. I love this movie. And that feels like part of what I get from you talking about your grandmothers. Like, they done seen all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, they done seen the worst of it. The very, very worst.
Yeah.
And we think right now that this is the worst. But I couldn't imagine.
Me either.
I couldn't imagine going through the Great Depression as a kid. Yeah. Don't even get me started.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. That's right.
I really, really appreciate you bringing up like the power of story. I've been thinking a lot about that. I've also been watching a lot of like children's television because I'm just like, I don't have the energy for adult drama.
Yes. That's right.
I want to watch cartoons. So that's what I've been watching. And I was watching Star Trek Prodigy, which is an animated show set in the time around Voyager. I'm a Trekkie, yo. I love Star Trek.
I haven't watched a single episode.
Oh my God.
And it's so much I can't even get into it.
No, you
it's
can.
Like so many things.
Start at Deep Space Nine because Deep Space Nine.
Write it down. Deep Space
Captain
Nine.
Benjamin Lafayette Sisko is the best Black TV dad, and I stand on that wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Quote me.
Okay.
We're not going to go into a deep dive. Next podcast is not even about politics. It's just about pop culture. But I think, anyway, so I've been thinking about watching Star Trek Prodigy, and there's one character who had one storyline in response to trauma that he experienced. But then when you go back in time, you meet him before the trauma, and the person that he was, before the trauma is like so different from the person that they all had this like really negative connotation about. And I'm bringing that up to say like, I really feel like we're also in a moment that like we cannot hold people and ourselves to our old stories. Like, what does it mean for us in this moment if people are like, I didn't get it before, but I get it now, or I am like, to have enough grace with each other to be like, ooh, this is hard, but I'm going to trust that you are changing and I'm going to invite you and hold space for you instead of who you call yourself to be now.
That's hard work.
It's hard work.
Oh my God.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Lessons from Star Trek.
Lessons from Star Trek. Also, Kubo and the Two Strings also has a great storyline around this too. Y'all, if you just want to know what animated children's things to watch that also has a deep message, just hit me up, because I want to talk about cartoons.
Tony Todd was also in Star Trek.
Yes, he was in Star Trek in Deep Space Nine.
There it is. What a connection.
Right.
All right, I'll watch it. Fine.
Oh my God, please start at the beginning.
I'll watch it. All right.
Oh my God. Okay, just text me along. If anyone else has not watched Deep Space Nine and you start because you listen to this podcast, please message me, email me, send me a carry-on message on a pigeon, right? Send me a something. Because I want to hear
Nine.
about your thoughts about Deep Space Nine.
Got it.
Also, if you ever connect to Deep Space Nine, I want to be on Deep Space Nine so bad. I want to be on any Star Trek. They don't. I just want to be on Star Trek. Is really my claim. Anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about reflections from this season and what you are holding on to and taking with you from the conversations that we've had.
Yeah. One thing I keep thinking about as it relates to like North Carolina elections was the night of the election results when they started to roll out, it looked like Allison Riggs for Supreme Court was losing or lost if you just stopped at that moment in time. But then I thought about our conversation with Erica, and I was like, wait a minute.
They're not done.
So I checked before we start this conversation, and she is up by 70 votes.
7-0.
Only 70. Which then connected to the conversation with Dreamer around coin tosses.
Yes.
I still can't get over that personally, that's how they would decide an election. If there's a tie, but also like what came after that. And like when we participate, sometimes the margins are so small that like me not voting in that particular race would have made a significant difference. Or 70 more people participating and voted for Allison Riggs made a significant difference in the outcome. So it kind of makes me curious about like what that means for other counties, which I haven't really looked into because I'm really, focused on Durham in most cases. But for those like counties outside of Durham who are typically more rural or red, like what that could mean and engaging people in that way. The conversation with Margaret around like us handing our power over or feeling like we don't have the power, that people beyond ourselves have power. And that's how we go into voting or elections. I'm trying to hold on to that, even as we think about like this like presidential outcome and like what that will mean if we remember that we have power still and that it's not like all over because there's one person and his trash ass list of people.
Cabinet, Voldemort.
Can't stand it.
Oh gosh.
To remember
mayonnaise.
that.
No, I'm sorry.
To remember it.
It's bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, I think those have been the things that kind of been sticking out to me. And then obviously the conversation with Wesley around like faith and solidarity as a means to revolution, but not revolution in the ways that I tend to think about it when I'm reading from like Black Panthers or BLA members or other Communist Party members who write about revolution, what it's supposed to take and what it's supposed to mean. But like, how can I even reframe my own ideas around what transformative change will look like?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some of my things.
Ooh, those are good things.
Yeah. What about you? What you holding on to?
I'm thinking about Erica as well and just like the process. Right? Like I was thinking about her on election night. Like, what is Erica doing right now?
Same.
Like when she gonna get to bed? Like they're still counting, and what that means when we're like, no, people are still counting ballots right now. And I think because I know Erica, I'm thinking about all the other humans that are involved with the process.
That's right.
And what it means to have to trust their intentions. Even when folks have shown us that maybe their intentions are not honorable. So thinking about that. Thinking about the conversation with Salim and just like the media, the journalism overhaul that we need.
Yep.
And just like how difficult it is and has been to get like relatively unbiased like state and local journalism. It's really, really hard. And we have 100 counties in North Carolina, So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about Margaret's conversation and what she said about when we asked her if she had like a word for people who are thinking about running. And I'm thinking about what you just said about like the people who are like, it's my time now. How can we be creative about what leadership means in this moment? Like we do need folks who are going to come up and stand up and be like me. You know, I'm thinking about Braxton. I'm thinking about Mary, who both didn't win their races, but like gave their most earnest try. And what it means to be like, my people, my community told me to come. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to show up. And how do we, as a community, how do we like celebrate them, even in the loss, to be like, thank you. Thank you for showing up.
That's good.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a few other, and then I'm just thinking about Blair because I'm like, Blair, tell us what. Yeah. Like I'm just really curious. I'm excited to have another conversation with Blair at some point and just be like, Blair, all right, what's our plan? Like, what's the game plan from here? And like, what is the data? What is the data telling us about this race, other than the fact that North Carolina is one of the most gerrymandered states in the country? Yeah. Those are some things I'm walking away with. And a lot of questions, you know? And the question I have for you are like, what are some of the things you're celebrating from the election results?
I'm excited about the governorship. Yes. Lord, I couldn't have taken that. I couldn't have taken that if that other man had won. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that the AG, also Jeff Jackson, is pretty cool, pretty solid in some ways. So I'm glad about that. I feel like now that we've had these conversations with the people who have been on Down Ballot Banter, like I feel clearer about the landscape in some ways. And like who is doing. Well, before this, I was like, well, who's organizing with rural people? And I knew about Down Home, but didn't know like the depth of their work. So I'm like, that's exciting. Like that they'll continue the work they're doing after making these connections and knowing it's not over now that the election is over for them. It's like that gives me a lot of hope and excitement. Also like, wondering like what's next for Braxton or like what's next for Mary Black? Like, what do they want to be doing? And like, how can we even engage them with people who supported them to say like, there's still work to be done and there's still policy that needs to be changed and there's still organizations. Like how can we leverage or engage with them in that way? I'm also excited to be like, for all you people who are not ready to actively, creatively resist whatever this federal issue is gonna be, you gotta go. We can't deal with y'all either. We can't have local issues and federal issues and state issues. Like if you're not ready to move for real, you need to go. Like I'm very excited about that. Otherwise, we'll have people who are just like wasting space, wasting time, and not actively resisting. But you can't be there on our watch. So I'm excited about that.
That is exciting.
I'm excited. What about you? Are you excited in general?
I don't know. I asked you a question that maybe wasn't fair. I am excited about Mo Green because if that other lady had won,
oh God, yes,
we would just have to scrap all the schools and start over. And we don't have time. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. I just feel like it should be a prerequisite that if you want a job, you want the institution to exist.
Yes. That's correct. Seems like a basic kind of.
Can you imagine trying to get a job at a Burger King and you're like, hello, give me this job. I don't think Burger King should exist. I'm a vegan. Make me your manager so I can burn it down. That is absolutely incredulous.
Yeah, that's wild.
Incredulous. So I'm grateful for Mo Green. Shout out to public school teachers.
Facts.
They continue to save our world.
That's right.
Gee whiz. Other than that, I'm sure there are other things I'm excited about. I think I am curious about the folks who got activated during this election that weren't activated before. And I'm also curious about the 15 million people that did not vote.
Yes, very curious about that.
I know that because of, Palestine was an issue, but that's not the only thing.
Nope.
Some people are also just feeling so disillusioned.
Yep.
So I'm really curious, like, I want to hear from the 15 million. I'm like, what happened? And not in a shameful, not in a guilt, just tell me like why, like what was it that turned you off?
That's right. That's right.
So I'm curious. I'm really curious about that. And like you said, I do feel excited about our next election. I think it's kind of weird that we have elections every year. Also, you know what?
What? Go ahead.
I want to make a challenge to everyone who gave money to the election. So like whatever it was that you felt like you could give to the people to, find an organization that is doing the work. Because I think part of the issue is that because folks were not excited about the presidential, particularly in the South, people disinvested.
Yep.
They're like, well, I'm not going to give my money because I don't think he can win. So then, of course, these organizations like Down Home and these other spaces that could have been organizing well before for state and local wins too, didn't have the resources.
That's right.
So then when Kamala joined the race, everyone like influx of money, but it's like, y'all want us to spend this money in the next 60 days?
Yeah.
Because as an artist who got involved in stuff like that, like it's so difficult to do anything meaningful and impactful.
Yep.
Like that's actually not how we shift culture. So I am putting out a challenge and a hope and a word that like anyone who gave money to the election, that you find an organization who is doing the things that you want to see happen in the world and just make a monthly pledge or a quarterly pledge. I don't care if it's $5. Just do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Join them. You ain't
Show
gotta give
up.
no money. Just volunteer.
An hour.
See what you can do.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah.
It also makes me want to figure out like what it means to be a part of like voting precincts, like helping. Because it's the same people every time I go. It's the same older Black women, and it's the same couple handful of guys in there. But I'm like, don't y'all need a break? Would you like a break?
Older Black ladies are holding our democracy together.
How can the youth support y'all in this like situation here? Because I know it's tiring.
Yeah. And
you up all night, like you said, counting ballots and like doing all these things. I'm sure they could use some support.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to talk about culture a little bit.
Okay.
And I think some of the things that I've learned as we've done this season of Down Ballot Banter is like, we started off being like, oh, we want to learn things, but all I have is more questions. I've learned some things, but I mainly have more questions about like, how do we shift the culture of electoral politics and then governing, which is different, right? Like, Braxton says very clearly, like, there's the election.
Yep.
And then there's the governing, or as, they said in Hamilton, winning is easy, young man, governing's harder. So I just wonder, how do we create a culture where like that is interesting, where people feel like not just like they can access the information around these things, and not in these inflammatory ways?
It's a great question, actually. And yeah, I think it's like some of all that's happened here, right? Like we've talked about with Salim, like media and journalism. I think because we are in a society or culture that consumes a lot of media, I think there's something about being able to like shape that media to the people in which are like receiving it.
Yeah.
And I think because of the way that journalism happens or doesn't happen, it makes it hard to like actually spend time with it and be interested. So I think that's an element of it that I'm similarly curious about, like how we get better about communicating these things out in a way that people not just like understand, but like comprehend well, to like know then what to do with it.
Yeah.
I think there's also like a element of it, which we talked about with Blair, right? Like, and Erica mentioned it. Like, it's got to be some young people involved. It's got to be some Black people involved. It's got to be people who speak multiple languages involved. It can't just be the same old white folks talking to us about how important things are.
Yeah.
Because it just like misses this, like, it becomes kind of like paternalistic.
Yes.
In a way that doesn't feel healthy for like a culture building. It's got to be thoughtful and intentional, and like you have to be like you have to know people and how people already get together.
Yeah.
To make it make sense.
You cannot parachute into a community
Yeah.
and tell them what they should do and not do,
Correct.
how they should do it. Da, 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 da.
Correct. Thinking about how like a Down Home could collaborate on Down Ballot brunches to have them in like rural areas where people are connected. What else around culture? I mean, I feel like the music thing is kind of played out.
Yeah.
Kind of over, like concerts that's like rallies. I don't really think that's doing it for the people.
We could just have a concert.
We could just have a concert.
Here's my thing about this. Most time when people are like, we need to make arts, put arts in the movement, they're either like, can you make a rap song about this? Or they're like, can you write a poem about this? Or they're like, let's have a mural. And you're like, sure. But actually, when we're talking about cultural engagement and shifting culture, we mean using our ways of being to create new ways of being.
Yep.
Right? So that means that it has to be sustained. It has to be relational. And I actually think, and I made a post about this recently. I was like, I actually feel like this is the moment to invest in culture and invest in, like, because when we do culture work, we are inviting people to be inside of new ways, and we are then bolstering so that, because we're not going to have big movement wins under this like federal administration. We're just not. And we just like, we're going to be working hard to hold the line. Right? So we are going to be struggling with burnout and like harm and our communities being like, like broken up in like all these different ways, fighting at all these different like points. So we need our cultural strategies that like remind us, that like bring new people to hold the line, and that like resource the people who have been at the line for a long time. They weren't just singing these civil rights songs because they were fun. Like, no, this is cultural technology. Like, we weren't just eating food because we were hungry. It's like, no, because we needed to get around the table in a place, in a way that like we felt real and we felt supported. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
it makes me think about like also what I think feels so annoying to me about like concert as rallies. The artists that you're talking, well, there's also this like disconnection from history, which I always have a problem with. That's embedded in culture that has to be remembered, right? And like Nina Simone, Fannie Lou Hamer, they were singers, they were artists, but they were also actively inside movement.
They had political
Mahalia
homes.
Jackson was Martin Luther King's friend. He wasn't just calling her to sing him a song. Like they knew each other. Right? So like, if we're going to do arts, is like, it has to be ingrained in a way, and it isn't like you're just calling this artist to perform a poem and go back to wherever they from.
No.
It's like they are already in it.
Right.
And they have to be intertwined. And I think that's the part around like extracting the history from it and just making like culture just like this thing that we're building, not this thing that we already have that we're like expanding upon. And I think that's what is like really rubbing me the wrong way.
And you know, it's interesting because often the artists, they often lean more femme and more queer. And those are the folks that's like, oh, that was nice what you did, but we about to go have the meeting. And it's like, no. And
that's not it. Yeah.
Like when Mahalia Dr. King was not even supposed to give the I Have a Dream speech.
Nope.
Mahalia was like, oh, tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream, because they were in relationship. And he's like, oh, I had this dream that, you know, my children are going to be whole hands with some white kids. And Mahalia's probably like, Martin, that's wild. But but that is relational, right? And it's like, and I think that's what we really need in this moment, because the thing that's going to allow our movements and our communities to be fractured is loneliness and separation from each other. So we need to remember, I need to harmonize with you, not just because it sounds nice, but because when I add my voice to yours, I hear how powerful we are. Like, I need to dance with you, not just because I want to like move my body, but also because when I'm in rhythm with you, I can feel the ground move and I realize how powerful we are. Like, I need to eat with you because when I do that, literally when we eat food, our brains, because our animal brain would not stop and eat food if we were in danger. So when we stop and eat food, we are telling ourselves, I am safe. And when I sit around a table with you and I do that, I'm like, I am safe with you. Like, this is like, so when we talk, when I'm talking to folks, and not you, because you know these things, but like I talk to other folks and they're like, yeah, but like the arts, like, yeah. What about the food bank? The food bank deserves to be resourced too. I will never fight you on that. And can we talk about why we need the food bank?
Yep.
Can we talk about the culture of like, actually, sure, someone can go get but also we need long tables. We need long tables. Yeah.
We done? Damn, that was it. I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah. So
yeah, that's
I think in our wrap up, I think I'd like to offer some folks some low level lifts. Like, what can they do? What can we do in this moment where, you know, we are existing both in a place of possibility and also potential harm, you know?
One of the things I want to say first
Yeah.
is relax.
Everybody relax.
Breathe. Relax. Pause. Get your feelings and your mind together.
Come on.
Before we just jump out here doing stuff. And I too have a tendency to jump into like creative, producing, making when I'm like feeling turmoil.
Yeah.
And I too know that is not sustainable.
Yeah.
And I think it felt like initially, like the day after the initial election results came out, it was like, we need to be building this. We need to be doing this. We need to be meeting. We need to be talking
Hop
about
on
the
this
plan.
phone call.
I'm like, please give me a minute. Give all of us a minute.
Give yourself a minute.
Let's just be quiet. Can we just be quiet for like a week, take it in, and then maybe we can start some conversations around like,
turn off the TV, put down your
How
phone,
are
let the
you?
Lord work.
That's one low level lift.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
Another, I do think there is something about reconnection
Yeah.
with the people in our lives that we love and care about. I think there is a way that like the stress of like what's to come can make us start to imagine possibilities that may not be exact about like what might happen to us or to someone you love or someone you care about, which are real threats, yes. And I think just like checking in with friends, peers, whomever can like help us like reset some of that. Talking to elders. I called my great aunt. She was like, Quay, these people have been weird.
This ain't new, boo.
These people have been weird. And probably last would be finding organizations when you're ready, not immediately, maybe end of the month.
January.
Find some people that are doing the things that you're interested in, like advocating for or contributing to or giving a little bit of your time. And also like being open to the possibility that what you have to contribute is enough.
Yeah.
Because some people think like, oh, if I'm joining an organization, I got to be on the microphone leading the protest. No, you do not. You absolutely do not. You can just come here. Can you put emails in a Google Sheet?
Sure can.
Because we need that.
We need someone to dish out beans at the repast.
Can you give out the beans? Can you hold the door?
Yes. And say hello.
Can you greet people? Can you make people feel safe?
Yep.
Can you ask good questions? Can you like just be there? Can you take notes? Great. Need note takers. Yeah. That's enough.
Yeah.
I think.
I appreciate those.
And wear good outfits too.
Yeah. Please put a
Wear
fit
a good
on.
outfit. Wear a good outfit.
Put on a fit.
For yourself.
And for us. We want to see you in a fit.
Yep.
I would add, if you don't, learn the names of your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Learn the names of your neighbors. Find a joyful practice. That, just find something that brings you joy. And that might mean you sit down somewhere quiet and be like, what did I used to do when I was a kid that I really liked that I haven't done in a while? I have rediscovered graphic novels. I love a graphic novel.
Huh.
I get them from the library. If you don't have a library card and you can get
you
one,
a library card.
Get a library card.
Get your library card.
Yeah. I'm currently reading Howard Zinn's on the making of American Empire, the graphic novel version. It's great. So yeah, get a library card. Meet your neighbors. And don't be afraid of your questions. That you having questions is not evidence that you're incompetent or that you don't that you're unworthy. Your questions are pointing you somewhere toward a curiosity, toward a place, and follow your curiosity. Yeah, because you're not, whatever question you have, you're not the only one who has it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I did a fear journal the other day.
Ooh, about what you're afraid of?
What I'm
good.
afraid of now, what I'm afraid of in the future. Yeah, just wrote it all out.
Did it feel good to get that out?
It felt very helpful.
Okay.
And I realized I was holding my breath about a lot of stuff. And I wrote it, and I read it to myself. And then I was like, Quay, you don't know. You have no idea. And it wasn't even a very long list. I felt like it was a lot. It was 6 things, which might be significant to some people.
But 6 is not a lot.
6, I can do whatever with 6 things. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be helpful.
Yeah.
If people are interested in writing down what they're feeling as a means to move it beyond just in here and in your head like I do.
Yeah. And then maybe just start knowing who your local elected officials are. Don't even go to the state level. Just for your county.
Yep.
Who are the people who represent you specifically? And just know who they are. Because you probably done seen them somewhere.
Probably.
So
yep.
That's what I've got for low lifts. Quay, I'm really grateful that you've been on this journey with me this season.
I'm glad that you said yes to my yes too. Because you could have been like, well, you want to do this? And then you were like, never mind.
Just kidding. Yeah.
No. So yeah, I've enjoyed this and really appreciate how you perceive the world and engage the world, and how we hopefully created a resource of some type.
Yeah.
Beyond yeah. Many things I could say, but yeah.
Yeah. I hope folks found it helpful, and I also a lot of it's evergreen and continue to find it helpful. And I'm grateful to have had this place to process my feelings and thoughts and questions and to talk with so many brilliant people, yourself included, throughout those last several months. So thanks, Quay. And I want to say thank you to Earfluence. Thank you to our producer, Asia.
Shout out to Asia,
who's been holding us down every episode.
Down.
Thank you to Cece. Thank you to the editing team. Thank you for making us look and sound good.
That's right.
Yeah, if you want to make a podcast and you're in the Triangle area or beyond, shout out, call Earfluence. They're really great. They've been really good to us.
That's right.
Y'all, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if there's going to be another season. I don't know what's going to happen. But you can always follow me on Instagram at Monét is Art. Also on Threads. But I'm just talking nonsense on Threads.
You be killing it on Threads.
I'm just talking about nonsense.
Your Threads be threading.
I'm just talking about whatever I want on there. It's not curated. So please.
Yeah.
But on IG at Monét is Art. You can also find me on the internet at www.monetisart.com. Quay, where can folks find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the webs. Similarly, Yonda Project, YONDA project.com. That's Instagram. I'm on Threads, but not really. And then the website, yonderproject.com. Yeah, those are the big two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any exciting projects or things that you are working on that you want to share with people before we roll out?
Oh, let's see what I got. In the fellowship, Grounded Possibilities. I think I talked about that a little bit. So bringing some things to life with my family in March is a slated date for that gathering. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully there's a kind of part 2 book that's to come with some amazing contributions from my family. What else? I'm going to remember it later, but it's fine. Those are the main 2 things. So if you stay online or social media, you'll find me and I'll probably be talking about it. So yeah. What about you? What you got?
I am working on a meditation album because we really do need to breathe.
No, true.
We really need to breathe. So that'll probably be coming out in March. And I'm also, my big 2025 project is the Department of Reparations.
Yeah. Please.
Which is an interactive and immersive performance project and embodied research project, all about imagining a world where Black people, where reparations to Black people is being distributed. So I am going to be engaging 1,000 Black people across the state in Durham, Greenville, Fayetteville, and Wilmington. So if I'm coming to your city or close, would love to see you, and we'll be connecting with folks in the meantime, tween time. And then also, you know, I've always been supporting artists. It's what I do. But more formally, I've launched a brand called Art and Armature, where it's offering support to artists and creatives who just want to bring your big dreams into the world. So I have free office hours. So I do in-person and virtual 20-minute sessions if you want to talk about your art or your project. And then we do workshops and some other fun gatherings this year. So that's what I got going on.
Thank you. I'm very excited about the Department of Reparations. That might be how I get my furs.
Do the reparations.
Period. Let's go. Oh, I'm thrilled. Thank you, Monét. Awesome.
Thank you, Quay. You're awesome. It's been great.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Down Ballot Banter. We hope y'all enjoy diving into the tentacular world of local politics with us.
Yeah, and don't forget, this podcast is an extension of Monét's beautiful dream, the Down Ballot Brunch, where there are 3 simple steps. It's to eat, have a conversation, and to act.
That's right. Have a conversation using this podcast episode, the Down Ballot Brunch chat guide, or your own prompts. Write a note to an elected official on a Down Ballot Brunch postcard. Share quotes from your convo on social media, with consent, of course, or text 3 friends about their voting plans and find out what matters to them.
And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on other platforms, be sure to rate and review. Share it with your people.
Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep up with the Down Ballot Banter.